Hey, good evening, good folks on the internet. My name's Josh. Welcome to Bonus Stage. We are here for a Let's Listen. We have Rob of Curaga Records here with us. We also have Wes slash Emunator and Joseph slash Hotline Sehwani. What is going on, everybody? How are you all doing? Take it in turn or take it in unison?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Excited to be here. Listen to some of the new music we put together.
Yep. What's
So
up?
I'm
Oh, okay. No. Emunator, go first because you're on the time delay.
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm calling in from less than ideal circumstances. I'm on a rooftop in the middle of downtown Denver trying to leech some Wi-Fi that I'm gonna hope holds through for the next couple hours. But I'm super stoked to get this out. This is my first commercial album that I've been a part of, and worked real hard to get this one to come together as good as it did. So happy to be here debuting it.
And what's up? Hello, happy to be here. I'm Rob, aka Rob, as you say. Sounds like the Christopher Walken version of saying Robo Rob, or the or also my save point alias for my lo-fi and jazz hop. I also manage Curaga Records, and happy to be here. Josh, thanks for having us on, man. We really appreciate it. Looking forward to sharing this album with everybody. It's really came together in a cool way, and I think everyone will be pleasantly pleased. Not only like from an Undertale perspective, but like from a musical perspective. It's incredible album.
Yeah, it is. I had the luxury of listening to it today before the party, of course. Got to get my research in. Just for a little background, folks, Rob and I met at VGM Con last month and connected, and Rob reached out and wanted to very seriously have future Curaga record releases on Let's Listen here. So we are super stoked to have you and your esteemed artist here with us on Bonus Stage today and in the future. Thank you very much. Yes, of course, Wes is coming to us via satellite tonight, so we will do our best to be polite and be accommodating with that. But we are here today to talk about the release of Video Game Lo-Fi Undertale Volume One. I mean, this game is almost 10 years old now. How is this music even still relevant? Uh, that's all a joke. But Rob, maybe since you're kind of managing the project here, do you want to tell us kind of where you came from when you decided to put this all together?
Yeah, it came from a place of like, one, Undertale music is kind of evergreen at this point.
It is.
And everybody knows it. Even if they don't play the game, they know Megalovania, or they know at least the meme music, right? So it's just a part of like gaming culture. And I think it was like it just felt like it was time to get something done, and we decided to kind of sprint it. And I will shout out Emunator and Hotline for the rest of my days, because they pulled us off in like less than 3 months on a production timeline. Just blew me away. And yeah, yeah, man. It was just time for us to do like lo-fi Undertale. There's so much of it out there, but this kind of takes a different approach and looks at it from kind of a top down perspective, if you will. It'll make more sense when we listen through the tracks, I think. But yeah, that's what I have to say about it.
Awesome. And then, you said Joseph and Wes were just kind of like really hot on on the heels and getting this all together. The 3 months is a super short production timeline. So
Yep.
congrats to you both, Wes and Joseph. Joseph, do you want to start maybe and tell us kind of like what your side of the story is when Rob reached out to you, and kind of like what made you decide that this is something you wanted to be part of?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that Undertale has always been a series that I wanted to try to do some tracks and covers and remixes for in the past. I have my own YouTube channel, then eventually Spotify profile where I publish mainly like Sega and Nintendo tracks, and Undertale has always been something that people have always been asking me to do in the past. So I've been kind of just needing a reason to do it. So when Rob and I connected, and he mentioned that there was a kind of a want to do some Undertale music. I think that was kind of a good opportunity to light it up and say, hey, let's finally get it. And I think a lot of people are who follow my music are excited for it.
Hell yeah, absolutely. And Wes, what about on your end? What was that like, and where did this journey start for you?
So timing wise, this project came at kind of an interesting time in my life because I was just coming off the heels of when I met Rob. I think a mutual friend had sent one of my other lo-fi tracks I had produced from Legend of Zelda to Rob, and he'd heard it, he liked it, and so he's like, "We should connect. Let's talk about making some music together." And right around that time, I was contemplating leaving my day job and just taking a break. Basically, I needed some time off. I needed some time away from work, and so I put in my notice kind of spontaneously. And I remember I came home the last day that I was at my office. I had my boxes with me, and I came home and I'm like, cool. I've planned about a year to relax, and then I got bored in about 3 minutes, and then I started on a remix of Home from Undertale, which you're going to hear in this first block here. And honestly, the rest was history. It kind of just it panned out at the right time for me when I was looking for something to do. I was looking for a bigger purpose than what I'd been doing in my life, and I've been really I'm so grateful that this opportunity came up because working with Rob and Hotline has been just phenomenal. Like, I love these guys. They're amazing collaborators, amazing musicians, and I really because I had nothing else to do in my time, I was able to throw my whole heart into this and really just go all in on the music that I was making. And I think I'm really proud of how it came out.
Wow, dude, what a leap of faith, and it right into your first commercial release, no less. That's quite the start. That's I don't know. I'm sure there's some allegory or sorry, some some translation to the story of Undertale itself of just like falling down a hole and being like, well, this is my life now.
And I'm choosing pacifism, not
There we go.
genocide.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, that's really kind of you. Oh my god. Yeah, well, I can't wait to talk more about some of the collaboration that went on between the three of you, but I think first we need to set a little bit of context. So why don't we get into the first block that we have to listen here, folks, if you guys are all cool with that. Coming up first, we've got the Undertale theme itself from Undertale. This one is a collaboration between Hotline and Emunator, and then we're going to listen to 2 tracks by Emunator, Fallen Down and the aforementioned Home. Guys, if you're new to the show, then this is going to be really fun, but I do it to everybody. So let's
get into the news. I don't know.
We're going with that. Let's get into the news. Well, that's a really lovely soft start. I mean, I don't know how you could start an Undertale album without covering those basics right there.
Exactly.
Uh, yeah, really love those arrangements. Love the sounds that were used, all the modulation and everything. Just like really perfect. And folks, this album is live as of like right now. You can be among the first to get this album in your digital collection, in your CD collection, in your vinyl collection. And in fact, tonight on this listening party, we are going to be giving away a vinyl copy. Is that right, Rob?
Yeah, we'll do a vinyl copy of the album. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, the way we're gonna do that, folks, if you are in chat, please just put "Gimme Undertale." Not like don't do it proper. Like "Give me Undertale." You got to get full hick on there and say "Gimme Undertale." So if you type that in chat, that should qualify as an entry, and we'll do a giveaway at the end of the stream. So yeah, if you've loved what you've heard so far and are just so awesome about having a vinyl copy, then yeah, just do that in chat. Yeah, thankfully we got Wes back. We kind of lost you for a second there, bud. But yeah, we had Undertale theme, which featured both of you, and then Emunator. We had you on the last two tracks that we just listened to as well. Great stuff, guys. Yeah, really love the direction that it's taken so far. I love that you chose like a song that you're both collaborating on to start the album off. Yeah, really beautiful. I got to ask, is this the first time that you two have worked together before? Wes, why don't you start us off on that one?
Yeah, hopefully I'm coming through better now. I dropped off for a second, but
We got you strong, yeah.
but yeah. So this was our first time collaborating together. But I think in my head this wasn't actually originally written as the opening track. I think I originally wrote the Undertale theme demo that I then sent to Hotline as the outro of the album. And then in the process of collaborating, we kind of realized that it actually worked out perfectly as kind of this nostalgic reminiscence on that theme. You know, it starts off with something familiar, something kind of calming. But yeah, it was our first time collaborating, and so the collaboration went beyond just making the song together. It was also about, you know, where does it fit on the album, what purpose does this serve, and that dialogue was kind of running back and forth throughout the whole production process between all three of us, and that was actually probably one of the best parts about this. I think was just the investment everybody had in making it a cohesive project beyond just getting something out there.
Yeah, awesome. And Joseph, what about from your point of view? How was it collaborating with these two gents?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that for this track in particular, just to kind of build off a little bit of what Wes just mentioned, I think that it when sitting down and reflecting on all the tracks that came to be, this track made a lot of sense to open up. You know, one, naturally, for we have the nostalgia aspect. It's very popular. People are going to realize it, and they kind of get a build from Undertale from there. And then two, I think when picking our track order, we want to ultimately tell a story for the listener. And this track in particular, I think the general theme and idea that Wes and I had for it was to try to reflect almost like a daydream throughout. So we're kind of had a vision of someone in like a park, and they're hearing the nature and the kids around them, and they're longing for their next Undertale adventure. I think that was kind of our thought process. So as the song goes on, you kind of hear more and more and more of the actual Undertale theme itself, and less of like the ambient of the kids' laughter and like the park noises and whatnot. So I think it kind of really came to be. And I think after a while, it made solid sense to be first.
Yeah, definitely. Rob, anything to add to that in terms of the Undertale theme itself?
No, I think they covered most of it. I do want to say real quick that Dreamhive Games, who just entered the chat, that is art by Galen, and he is the other person who helped with all of the 3D artwork. So he did all the modeling for this one, and the singles that we put out as well. So just wanted to give him a quick shout out because they do amazing work.
Awesome. Yeah, we always love to shout out and highlight the visual artists for these albums that we have for listening parties here. It's it's people's first impression of what they're going to expect, right? And so seeing something that has a nice quality to it, that's definitely had some care put into it, reflects what the musicians are doing as well. So yeah, excellent job, Dreamhive. Yeah, really love the art for this one. And it's very much to the style of like classic, like Curaga. I say classic, Curaga Records. Generally, you've got that wonderful aesthetic that's just very
Yeah,
clean.
I wanted to not to I don't want to derail from Undertale too much. It just when I started doing artwork for Curaga, I really realized real quickly that I just wasn't as good at modeling, and it just didn't make sense in my brain. But I loved texturing and lighting and like layout and the final vision, and like that's where I think I shine better. So that's what I focus on now. But yeah, this one came together super well. Like when I first, like when the God raised worked, like oh my god, dude, like woo, like that's just a moment. Oh, thank you for saying that. We put a lot of love and care into our artwork. I think it's probably the biggest time sink I have on the label. Like I spend way too much time like just can't I just yep just
Little things,
a little bit more, just change that little tiny thing. Yeah, it's a problem.
And you are the solution.
I try to be.
Well, that's awesome. No, again, the album art is really good. And welcome, Dreamhive. Happy to have you here. Then we also heard Fallen Down and Home, both from Emunator. I guess Emunator, I want to, well, maybe this is just a conversation for you and Joseph equally. How do you choose, because the Undertale soundtrack is pretty big. How do you choose which songs make it? Is there like you try an arrangement and then that doesn't work, so you scrap the song, or like is there certain favorites that you're like, I always wanted to do this for lo-fi? Actually, Joseph, why don't you start us off on that question? How did you pick the songs that you were going to help do?
Yeah, I think for me, I kind of bounced off of Emunator. Kind of he kind of came in hot and heavy with like a handful of tracks that he wanted to do up front. So I kind of had to sit back and think about some of the themings I wanted to go for, and I think for me personally, I chose more like themes that I wanted to try to accomplish for a track, and then I found the track that I could possibly do. So I almost worked in that direction where I'm like, oh, I want to do something like outside and starry and night. That I try to listen through the OST and be like, oh, what could possibly work for this? And then, or I want to do like a water theme and like a cave theme, and how can we kind of get to that direction? And then I find like natural fits like quiet water or waterfall and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of the direction I went for.
Nice, nice. And then Wes, I mean, it sounds like you just came in hot and had some personal favorites in your back pocket ready to go.
Yeah, so this is kind of a unique process for me because I think we picked the track list and kind of committed to that before we started working on music in earnest. So I'm new, kind of just throwing stuff out and just seeing what sticks. But in this case, I had to start thinking about it a little more holistically. And so, like from my perspective, I wanted to do a couple of songs that I knew that I could do, like because I was kind of just getting into doing music in a commercial, like a more serious capacity. I wanted to make sure I could deliver on what I picked up on, but I also wanted to challenge myself a little bit. So like some of the earlier tracks that you hear on here, like some of my fan favorites, the ones that I think is going to resonate with the audience. But then later on, you'll get to tracks like Core or It's Raining, where I'm like, I wanted to pick something that was going to be intentionally a little bit harder to work with and kind of push me as a musician.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that tempo change and falling down there. That is pretty atypical for the style, I gotta say.
Yeah,
But it works really well.
it's,
You made it. You bent it to your will, so to speak.
mm-hmm. I will say that that specific tempo change and the time signature change that happened there, I don't know if you picked up, but a lot of the intro and outro was in 4/4 time and then went to 3/4 time for the beat section of it. That almost single-handedly got me to quit FL Studio because I almost broke the project file trying to get that one done. The working time on that single project was 45 hours, and I never want to spend that long on a song again. I'm sure I will for the next project, but yeah, that was. I mean, I wanted to do something really different with that track. And I remember, Rob, when I showed you that, I think you said you somehow made lo-fi sound big, and that was kind of the goal. Like, I come from a kind of a big EDM background, and so I go to a lot of shows, and there's always this cool, like 1 to 2 minute long, anticipation builders that they play before the drop really kicks in. And so I actually kind of modeled the song off of that, but just used the lo-fi sounds as kind of an aesthetic palette to build that on. Shout out to FL Studio.
So well.
Sorry, Rob, what were you saying Wes should come over to from Fruity Loops?
Come to Bitwig. Join the Bitwig army.
I'm up here hanging out with Knockbeant, who's another Curaga user, and he's been showing me some Bitwig stuff over the weekend, and it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Do it.
Modern solutions for modern problems. Oh man, yeah, that's awesome. It's so cool to have so much different like style in one lo-fi release. And we're going to listen to more of it, actually. Coming up next, we got another 3 songs for you folks. We've got Hopes and Dreams featuring Hotline and SafePoint right here. Oh, I'm weird. There we go. And then Emunator's got his cover of Snowden Town. And then Hotline is coming in with Waterfall. So maybe you've got the shtick this time, the 3 of you. Let's see if you've got it. Let's
listen.
Good job. Well, Hotline, I think I'm picking up what you're putting down when you mentioned you were kind of going for a bit of a vibe. I'm definitely getting that kind of like dark, brooding a little bit. You know, there's some thoughtfulness to it and some reflection as well. Yeah, so folks, we just listened to Hopes and Dreams featuring Hotline and Save Point. We had Emunator's cover of Snowden Town and then Hotline on Waterfall. Yeah, lovely stuff so far. Yeah, and I wanted to take a moment to get a little bit more into the production. We're, you know, mostly other artists are watching this stream. I know that for a fact. So we love to talk a little bit about what goes into making the sounds and making the sounds sound really nice. Yeah, I'm not familiar with what either of your approaches, well, any of your approaches are to covering songs, but I know, you know, obviously there's some proper sound selection, maybe some sampling involved. I know we've heard some already tonight. But Hotline, Joseph, you've been featured prominently in this block. Why don't you kick us off there and let us know? I mean, you can reference a specific song if you like, but just generally, kind of like what your selection process or recording process was for the sounds that you've used. Or don't. That's
Yeah,
cool.
no, I think a hold on one second. I might cut out, but
Oh,
no,
sure.
I think for me, and I'll talk about waterfalls just because it's in this block
Mhm.
particularly. I just normally I start with just listening through the OST and figuring out what sounds I can use to make it recognizable and also create a fresh spin on my own. And I think for me the original song kind of has more of like a haunting presence to it. Kind of since you're in a cave in the game, and it has more of a simple but still has that haunting presence. So I wanted to try to take some of those elements and kind of expand on that. So instead of having that experience, changing it more to like the cave atmosphere, you have some distant voices surrounding, so there's very low vocal inflections that I used. That was kind of like my theming that I went with this album, where I have a lot of different vocal inflections, treat them, more as harmonies, and really listening to the best. You would laugh. I was kind of laughing with the Rob and Wes of how many droplet water sounds files you'll go through until you find like that perfect one that just makes everything line up perfectly. So and I think this one, and then also in the next block, Quiet Water, I kind of designed them together, so that was a kind of like a complementary track.
Yeah, definitely. And we will be listening to Quiet Water next. So I'm sorry that the listening block just naturally parted the waters, so to speak. But yeah, can't wait to hear that highlighted. And then Emunator, you had your track Snowed, or no, sorry, Emunator. We're not talking to you right now. We got Rob on the Hopes and Dreams track as well. I want to talk a little bit more about your collaboration there. What was that like?
Yeah, so Hotline gave me a basic structure and kind of arrangement that he thought would be a good direction to go in, and I kind of ran with that. I think if I remember correctly, I did mostly guitar work with that one, and some keys, and then kind of left the rest up when handing it back over to him. Left the rest up to him. I also played guitar on Home with Wes, so on that last block. So forgot to mention that, but I love guitar. It's like my favorite instrument to just jam on, right? So anytime I can add it into my music, I do. And what's funny is lately, some of these virtual instruments have gotten so good that if you wanna like just take a little bit more time to like humanize your MIDI a little better, and you can't tell the difference. And so I've had a lot of fun like creating my own loops or melodies or whatever with MIDI instruments, resampling that out, and like then processing it with my lo-fi, like my lo-fi chain and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun.
Nice. Well, as a fellow guitar player, I do have to say that I was like, oh, that's either really good VST, but likely that is a real person strumming.
Yeah, I think on Home I played it on Home, I believe. I can't remember actually anymore.
Yeah. Home we use both. The acoustic guitar was MIDI. The electric guitar was live.
Yep.
Oh, nice. Oh, well, I guess that brings us back around to you then, Wes, doesn't it? Nice job on that guitar VST, the acoustic one. That totally fooled me. But also,
I didn't even do the acoustic guitar VST. That was Rob programmed that for me after I asked him to record it. He's like, I can do you one better.
It'll sound better.
I'm gonna make the robot do it.
Yeah,
that's the Robo in the Robo Rob.
Exactly.
Oh man, but yeah, coming back around to Wes, the Snowden Town. I like how you really subdued that melody from that song, because that is a very bright and prominent melody in the original, and just like the way you kind of like put it underneath almost everything else was really nice.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, for that track, I kind of alluded to this in the last block, but I kind of start all these lo-fi tracks trying to do something else. So like Fallen Down was started as an EDM track. You're going to hear some stuff later that starts as, well, I won't spoil it, but you'll know. But for Snowden Town, like I listen to a lot of pop music in my spare time, so I kind of wanted to make kind of like a 90s inspired pop ballad. I think you'll hear that in the drums and especially the keys a little bit. But that song was kind of directly inspired by Somebody Else by the 1975, and so I kind of took elements from that and then spun it off into something lo-fi. So like the subdued melody came from kind of like mirroring it after somebody singing like a really soft falsetto. But then, to kind of tie it back to the theme of the game, because I always like to make sure that my video game music is relevant to the people that played the game and the experiences they had in that. And so I use a lot of like actual like footsteps in the snow sounds for the percussion. So I always like, that's just something that keeps it fun for me too. Like, as I start making more and more music, there's a tendency for it to potentially blend together. So I throw little things like that in there to make it fun.
Oh, that's awesome. You got to have fun making your art, and it just makes it mean so much more to you as well.
Absolutely.
Oh gosh, really beautiful, folks. This is a brief. It's not like a super short album, but it is kind of short. We are already past the halfway point, so we only have 4 more tracks that we're going to be listening to tonight. Which means, folks, if you are interested in having your lo-fi listened to on the highest fidelity that you can get, vinyl is your best bet. And you might want to go. There it is, Taladar. Thank you for coming in with the prompt there. Give me Undertale. Type it in chat if you want to have somebody give you Undertale in the form of Undertale Volume One video game lo-fi vinyl record. Just pop that in chat, and we'll do a draw at the end of the show here. Yes, but we are now going to be putting the waters back together for Hotline's pair of Waterfall and Quiet Water. We're going to start the next block with Quiet Water here, and then we're not out of the water yet, because then it's Raining Somewhere Else by Emunator and Save Point. Sorry, are you booing my?
It just hurts,
segue?
dude. It hurts like right here where my heart is. No, I'm just teasing.
Oh man, and then we're going to be listening to. We're going to save the last track for its own little thing, but we're going to be listening to his theme by Hotline here, and I don't know. I just see capital H his, and I immediately remember all of my religious trauma. But that's okay. That's good. That's not in the video game. We're fine.
Oh, that's a deep cut.
My religious trauma is a deep cut. Thank you.
Well, because it's really funny because Emunator and I are like, yeah, we both have that. We bonded over our religious trauma. Let's just say.
There we go.
Yeah, that's surprisingly relevant.
Oh wow.
Say
Okay.
that.
Maybe we'll discuss it on the next talking block.
Maybe not.
We can just have a big group hug.
We're gonna need to bill for another hour of therapy if we're gonna do that.
All right, folks. Well, in that case, yeah, let's just talk about it backstage. And for now, let's
listen. I thought we could have done like a 3-part harmony or something.
All right, let's
Not with my microphone.
Well, we are having a laugh riot backstage. Oh man, just Wes thinking about rapping. Maybe. What do you think, Wes? Do you have it in you?
No. I was gonna try. I was gonna try in front and pretend that I could, and
well, we are sorry.
You'll have to have him back in order to do it next time.
Okay, that's the deal. Yes, I will absolutely.
For the next release.
Yeah, we'll probably have you on sooner. We'll probably just do like a 1 minute stream sometime. We'll announce it so everyone's there, but it'll just be 1 minute, and we'll get to hear you rap, Wes. You don't have to turn your camera on or nothing. We just want to hear it. Oh my god! I'm sorry. I don't mean to.
My rhythm is off. I can blame it on the stream delay.
Yeah, absolutely. All the excuses, you can just have them at your fingertips. We just listened to Quiet Water. It's Raining Somewhere Else and his theme by Hotline, Emunator and SavePoint, and Hotline again, respectively. Hotline, you said when we were talking about the waterfall track, how you like picked some really cool sounds and like ideas for the watery caves and stuff like that. I should have definitely taken a closer listen and had those two tracks together. But yeah, what for you really stands out about Quiet Water in terms of like the way you approached that arrangement?
Yeah, I think funny enough, I wanted to do Waterfall and Quiet Water as I said, and Quiet Water as an original track on in the Undertale game is pretty minimal, so there wasn't too much to build there. So I think I had to be more creative with trying to make it more song, building up the arrangement, and I think it kind of similar to Waterfall, being more expansive on Waterfall. I spent a little more time doing kind of like a cave setting, and then I think Quiet Water was definitely more exploring water samples and trying to build off of that and keeping the vocal inflections through as well.
Yeah, no, it was really serene. Really fits the lo-fi aesthetic, and yeah, just like playing with all those samples must have been like being on a playground.
Yeah, absolutely. And also just a quick shout out. I know to someone I worked with before, DJ Dark Prime. Him and I have done one or two songs. We're coming out with one soon as well. So I see him in the chat. Just wanted to give him a quick shout out. You should listen to his music too.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, shout out DJ Dark Prime. Absolutely. Thanks for being here.
We stand Dark Prime in this house.
Definitely. I've seen Dark Prime around. Actually, holy shit.
Played MagFest the year before last.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm tripping. I might have had you very close to bonus stage, or at least somebody has like been like, "Hey, get DJ Dark Prime on your show sometime." So yeah, maybe I'll slide into your DMs later. But let's bring it back over to what we're here for today, and we can move right on into the next track. It's Raining Somewhere Else, collaboration, Emunator and SavePoint. Rob, you were saying this was a little bit of a fever dream. What do you mean by that?
Well, Wes explained it in the chat. When he sent this to me, there was some crazy rap acapella on it, and the chords were like weird. They weren't bad, but they were like just off enough to. They were wrong. And as soon as we were like,
me straight, dog.
we it didn't take long for us to be like, okay, yeah, let's use different chords. But yeah, it was and then it turned into this like, I don't know, Wes describes it better than me. It's like acid jazz, but also hip hop and almost kind of like noir feeling to it as well, with the trumpet or saxy. Was a sax there? I can't remember it was a sax, right? Because it took forever.
There's sax. Or there's some trumpet that we programmed, but there's some sax cuts from like sampled audio too.
Right, and that's where like the like trip hop feel comes. There's a lot of different elements that are playing in this one track, and it kind of all came together, and we put really a shout out to Sketch Cassette 2. That's like our most used tape saturation plugin on Curaga Records.
Doing all the heavy lifting.
Doing some heavy lifting.
Oh man. Well, Wes is the best with his genre classifications. Just a quick sidebar, funny story, because we're talking about the Fever Dream genre type track. Couple of weeks ago, we were talking about I don't know if you recall, Wes. We were just trying to talk about like just some Spotify strategies and figuring out like some good keywording, and you were like, "Oh, I don't know what this is." More like it's like post rock anthem, rock beat, acid house arrangement. And you just kind of gave me like a long genre description, and I was like, "Why don't you try rock fusion?" It was just like,
no, I remember exactly what you were talking about. I think I described it as it was a cinematic acid house, post rock, orchestral. It was messed up.
It's orchestral house, and I was like, "Why don't you just try rock fusion?" I think that's rolls off the tongue better.
just call it prog. It's fine.
There you go.
It's not licensable anyway, so it's a moot point. I can call it whatever I want.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Oh my god, that's hilarious. But Wes, you had like some songs in your back pocket. Was It's Raining Somewhere one of the ones where you were like ready to go with wanting to cover this track?
Not for this one. Like I knew that the jazz chords would translate well over to a lo-fi aesthetic, but I really didn't know what I was going to do. So like speaking of collaborate, like, so Rob has been really awesome with kind of putting up with my inexperience in this, because before this, I just really wasn't much of a collaborative artist. I did most of my stuff by myself, and I would occasionally have one person on a track, but this has been kind of a big shift for me. And so when you talk about the bad chords, like like my creative process is kind of like an ADHD doom pile until it's not at the very end. And so it's been kind of interesting letting people into that process earlier on, and then kind of having to curate my stuff a little bit more and learn, like, all right, you should probably fix this before you send it to your collaborators. So this was very much one of those where I just started recording for a couple of hours and just threw down anything that I thought might work, and then exported it and sent it over to him. And luckily, Rob was able to parse through that perfectly fine, and he was able to pull some magic out of it.
Pile, yes.
But this was very much a doom pile sort of track that started out, and eventually, through the power of collaboration and teamwork, we brought it together into something coherent. Also, fun anecdote on this one is that the day that Rob and I were recording for this, it actually was raining outside for me. So the somewhere else was actually right there. So I went outside with my phone and just grabbed some samples of the rain. So I'm like, this is, I could obviously go on freesound.org and get a rain sample, but it just feels a little more special if I grab my own. And so then I brought that back in and layered it into the intro and outro, and then decided to drop it into Shaperbox and give it some sort of like rhythm gating. So I think one of the percussion loops is actually just made out of rain sounds that are cut.
Mm-hmm.
But this was a very chaotic process. So when Rob says it's a bit of a fever dream, that hopefully that elaborates on that a little bit.
Like, yeah, it was our first time properly collaborating on a track together, and we had to learn each other's like style, but we did pretty quickly, and it was pretty quick. I think at one point you even said to me, "Oh hell yeah, I knew you were the perfect collaborator for this, bringing this track vision to life." And then like, and it was just the perfect mesh of like his side of the brain and my side of my brain going together. And from that point forward, everything we were doing to the track, both of us were just like, yeah, yep. It just works. Everything works. So it was really cool to like
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Let's say, once you get past that initial, like the first date phase of collaborating with somebody, like if the magic is there, the magic is there, and I think the magic was. Now I know who to get my ninth chords from anytime I need some for a song.
Hi, I like jazz.
So before we move on, can I, as a newcomer to the stream, can I get some context on the cat that's now perched in the window behind you?
Yes, we've been graced by my cat Kylo. He is a big, fluffy
Hello.
Flufferton, and he's the sweetest boy. He's also very talkative. He's not talking right now, but typically
He's busy.
He's
Going-
thinking about it. Just looked back at you like, I'll do it. I'll meow.
don't fucking make me do it. I'll
He's busy
meow.
keeping the birds out of the studio.
Yeah. He's definitely protector of the portal to the outside world. There, yeah. He's all that's between us and the nature of Mother Nature. I don't know. I'm getting a little sidetracked here. We've also got his theme, Hotline. Yeah. Sorry to bring up the religious trauma. I'm sure that was not your intention with that at all. But his theme. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that arrangement? Did that like fit the vibe of what you were kind of going for when you set out to do this?
Yeah, I think that initially, as kind of a theme of what I've been saying on some of the other tracks, I always start off with just really familiarizing myself with the original song, and I'll try to kind of grab a couple of elements that I feel can transform into one of the vibes I wanted to do. So as I mentioned, I think for this song in particular, the the lead, it kind of reminded me just as some like light bells, and then I took that and tried to do more like a starry night type vibe. And the other two tracks that we've heard so far, the waterfall and the quiet water, were more on the more calmer side of things, kind of reflective of the water. And I wanted his theme to be a little more brighter, to try to kind of be a little more reversed to the other two. So I think that's kind of my thought process when I was putting this track together. So taking that and building that vibe of like a starry night, you kind of hear a fireplace crackling, and I always start with the vision. I think that's kind of my initial directions. Whenever I start, I'll kind of build it from there. So I did try to be cohesive from beginning to end, and then I just start trimming it down. So I think for this track, it accomplished what I wanted to do, which was the other ones were a lot more calm. This one's a little more of borderline on lo-fi, more on the hi-fi, brighter side of things, and I think wanted to capture that to be a little bit different for the album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's beautiful, and to have it where it's placed on the album too is just it's the perfect spot for that. Just really well done. So beautiful. We've got one more track left, and that is Core, Titular Moment, of course. This one features both of you. Since this is the last track, is there anything that you would like to preface it by saying, either or any one of you?
I think we should touch back afterwards, and everybody should just let this one sink in, because it's not a hard shift in terms of like the entire album overall and like the journey it takes you on, at least in my opinion. But it does. It just has an element of surprise, I think, that I don't think should be prefaced with too much besides you're going to love it.
Enjoy.
Please enjoy. It's wild.
It's a banger.
It's a banger. This is often said of most lo-fi releases. Yes, it's a banger. Awesome. All right, well let's get into it, folks. This is Core featuring both Emunator and Hotline Sehwani. Let's
get into it.
Listen.
Wait.
Ah, yes, there's the cassette tape out of the tape deck. Now, don't forget to flip it over for the other side. That will be volume two. No, just kidding. So yeah,
No,
I guess the
but
surprise.
actually,
But maybe.
yeah, let's talk about this first.
Yes, yeah. Well, it sounds like the surprise was that this managed to be lo-fi somehow in a technical manner. Yeah, of course, a pretty high energy piece, and to take it and reduce it to that is no small feat. Yeah, Emunator and Hotline, you both were on this track collaborating together. I guess it was this one and the opening track that you collaborated on. But yeah, what Hotline, why don't you start us off on this one? What was it like working together on this track specifically?
Yeah, I think initially, again, like this was the first time Wes and I worked together. So he sent me some foundation that he had and some of his vision he was trying to and I worked from there. And the general rule and idea, and kind of I guess the inside joke between Rob, Wes, and I was this kind of was turning out to be like a if Undertale was an '80s always like OVA movie that had the credits line in it. So we wanted to take something we kind of stretch a little bit to make it more of like a chill wave, if you will, but Core was definitely a difficult track to do, and I think that Wes and I found some excitement in taking on a challenge and working on it from there. So, making it somewhat in that vein of like the chill wave, lo-fi realm.
Yeah, awesome. Wes, do you want to follow that up with your side of it?
Yeah, I will fully admit that this is one of the songs that I picked that was supposed to be a challenge for myself, but then when I got to it, I'm like, oh shit, what am I actually going to do with this? Like, I'm contractually obligated to deliver on this track now. Damn it. And so then I started playing around with it, and for me, I kind of started to think about like expanding, what could lo-fi be for me? Because so I think about like when I listen to lo-fi music, like what does it do for me? It makes me feel nostalgic. It reminds me of times past, like from my childhood. Kind of that there's a joy of discovery and rediscovery to it for me. And so I tried to. I think when I was putting that in here, that was kind of what was close to my heart and front of mind here was you know rediscovering things that were nostalgic and that I kind of let go as I became a serious boring adult. And so like the VHS sounds, the tape, the cassette reel, like all that stuff brought me back to my childhood, but in an album sense, this kind of is supposed to snap you out of the daydream that you start in track one. So in a way, it comes full circle where you know, and it was really cool that I think both of these were collabs between Hotline and I, where you start off with this sun-soaked daydream, and go on this wild mystical fever dream of a journey, and then you have this end credits climax, and then the cassette pops out and you're back to reality again.
Mm-hmm. And I got to check reality there too because I'm curious. Was that actually like a audio cassette, or was that a VCR sample at the end there?
That was a VCR sample, I think.
Yeah, that was VCR.
A little bit more satisfying to hear. I'm sure
It is.
there's got to be
It's clunkier. It's a thicker boy.
yeah.
There's a lot of those samples throughout the rest of the album too. Like I know for sure it's on Raining Somewhere Else and Fallen Down, but I think there's some other tape reel VHS effects elsewhere in there.
Yeah, excellent use of effects, sampling, arrangement, even some live instrumentation. Yeah, folks, this has been Undertale Volume One, Video Game Lo-Fi, presented by Curaga Records, featuring Hotline Sehwani and Emunator here, and Save Point as well. Yeah, excellent job, everybody involved. Love the album art as well. Another shout out for Dream Hive Games there. And yeah, just amazing. This is out now. Like, Rob, you released this like while we were having this listening party, right?
I did. It's you can grab it on Bandcamp now. Merch is being is being manufactured right now. So I think tapes are here. and shipping. If you want to pick up a tape, we have cassettes, and we also have CDs coming, as well as vinyl will be here. I think we just got test pressing. Actually, they're right here. I just got my test pressings.
Ooh.
So
Is that unopened in
it's
box?
unopened.
Wow.
I'm listening to it tonight.
Nice.
But manufacturing should be done on those within like a month or so after we get the test pressings back. So not too long. We're looking at like mid-July at the latest, if it takes that long. So yeah, we've got a really great crew of people at Materia Music that help us like make these happen. Like Issa, she did all the layouts for all of the digital artwork and the vinyl layouts and the CDs and the tapes. Makes all of those look pretty. Shout outs to Steve, who got all of our stuff manufactured. He is our head of manufacturing there. And big shout out to just everybody involved at that level of like it takes a lot to do these albums, and it's really cool that we get to do this kind of stuff. Is like I get to do this kind of stuff as my job, and we like get to share our thoughts on how this music sounds to us, to everybody. And that's my favorite part of the job, is like just making tracks with everybody, making art with everybody. And I'm stoked that we have Hotline and Emunator on the Curaga fam releasing Undertale. It's out now. You can go pick it up on Bandcamp. It's be streaming at 12 p.m. Midnight your local time tonight. Yeah. Thanks again for having us, Josh. Been a blast. This has been really fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And I gotta say, did we get some entries for the vinyl giveaway? Are we going to give away the vinyl to anybody? Because I think I've seen some people joking about in chat, and this is a serious giveaway. You could get like, you know how much it costs to ship vinyl? Like, you should get in on this. The odds are great right now.
The odds are great. Just type "Gimme Undertale" in chat, and you'll be entered to win a vinyl.
Yeah, do it now while you can. Oh man. And
there's like 11 people exclusively listening in the chat right now.
The odds
Your odds are pretty high.
Yeah, I think one of them might be me. Oh no. Okay. Well, Wes's battery just died. He's just letting us.
Oh no. Well.
Oh man. So
goodbye, perfect timing.
Miss you forever.
Yeah, made it to the end. All right. Oh, there we go. Delicious Nick. Good job.
What's up, TDP?
Tell you what, we'll give you folks like 2 more minutes. I'm going to take some time, and I'm going to plug some of the other stuff that we have going on here on Bonus Stage. We have another listening party coming up next week, featuring our friend Delicious Nick, who is in chat there. Hi, Delicious Nick. Hope you're doing good. So Let's Listen has been pretty popular, so we're just kind of doing this almost every Thursday now. But yeah, same time, same place. Next Thursday, we've got Delicious Nick with his album Kia. I presume that is meant to be some kind of Three Ninjas Kickback reference or something. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. VGM covers featuring some cool friends such as Ronan Opef and Ian Cowell. Yeah, and then the week following that, we've got the Mad Gear on here to talk about their album that they have revisited, Symphony of the Fight. That is a bunch of really good songs from a bunch of really good dudes, and we can't wait to have them here. If you are in the Vancouver area or willing to travel, Rob, come on over to the video game or the Vancouver Retro Gaming Expo on June 22nd. Bonus Stage has been presenting the music there for a little while now, and we've got quite a stacked lineup that's going to include Danny B. Style, Lena Rain, Missing No, a bunch of other really cool Vancouver VGM and Chiptune acts, all local stuff this year. We managed to flesh out the whole lineup with that. And with that out of the way, I think why don't we just draw for that vinyl giveaway? How many people in here are serious? Gimme Undertale. Gimme Undertale. There it is. Okay. Taladar, do you want to roll it on the giveaway there? Let's see who our winner is. Brrr, drum roll. Brrr, brrr, anytime now, Taladar. Oh, man. You do work with the drums, don't you, Rob?
Oh yeah.
Brrr.
How could
Uh-oh.
you tell?
Daladar, what do we got? DJ Dark Prime has won the giveaway. The odds were good. And congratulations, DJ Dark Prime. Well, it sounds like you're probably already in touch with Rob, who will definitely get all of your information and dox you. I mean, he will send you a piece of vinyl with the music that you've heard tonight on it. That's amazing. Again, thank you, Rob. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Wes, for joining Let's Listen here tonight. It's been a really good time. I'm going to put on some house music while we select a raid target. Otherwise, folks, we'll see you next week. Have a good night. Thank you.